But without further ado, I'm going to spotlight you, Drew, so that you're the main man. So go ahead.
All right. Well, like Jake said, glad everybody had a chance to get in, and we'll, like he said, record so other people that miss it get a chance. Um, Normally, I would have kind of these conversations with the older kids as we go, but it's been a little harder to do anything like that with everybody being just in different places. So we kind of wanted to talk about a few things real quickly. I'd like to talk about a few things real quickly, and then, like Jake said, we'll turn it over to Scott because he's got some interesting things for that next level as kids go beyond. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the state of swimming, both here in Wisconsin and the U.S., and how it's impacting everyone. We're looking at basically the perspective that we know, and been in contact with a lot of coaches throughout the country and kind of getting a different viewpoint from where everyone is. Basically, any of the kids that ever swim with me know I love metaphors and analogies. I don't ever remember which is which, though. But my metaphor for this is like we're basically weather people right now. We can give you kind of an idea of what's going on, but the forecast this is Wisconsin. It'll change constantly. So this is what we kind of know. We feel really bad that we missed out on some tapers at the end of the winter season. As we started up during the summer, the Zoom practices went really, really well. And then when kids got back in the water, you could tell that this was something that they were really, really needing and looking forward to. As we progressed, we were able to get some more pool time and, get a little more swimming done. But now we've kind of come into another roadblock where our school is starting up, and we feel really bad for the high school girls seasons that are being basically, passed on to the spring. As we also hear is even if they're being passed on to the spring, they are going to be shortened. We don't know yet what's going to happen with the boys season. But here at BAC, what we're looking at doing is pretty much just trying to keep our kids engaged, trying to progress in different ways that we can, and going from there. Basically, the perspective that we're looking at is that Jake and a bunch of our board members and have been really involved with Dane County Health in keeping our practices in line with their COVID-19 rules. The kids have done an excellent job in following those rules. But as we look around the country and even in Wisconsin, not everybody's under the same boat. I was talking to one of our friends, Robert Pinter. He coaches down at Florida, the university. He's kind of the adjunct to the University of Florida team. He works with Caleb Dressel. They, even though they're in Florida, are even under their facilities under more strict rules than what we have. They're only allowed 2 people per lane. And that Caleb, here is obviously one of the best swimmers in the world, is getting 12 hours of pool time a week. So it's rough there. Friend of ours coaches a team in Iowa City Eels. They had no pool time. The club actually kind of had to this kind of fold, and he had to leave. Jake was talking to coaches from, I think it's Watertown, right, Jake? That they're going to have basically 2 weeks of test run coming up, and that they haven't had any time since March. So I think Jake has done a tremendous job in getting pool time for us and then creating those schedules and that trying to get as many kids a good opportunity as possible. And we've been really lucky with our summer league teams giving us pool time. I think Jake and I were talking, we might be one of the only clubs around, except maybe McFarland, that even had indoor time during this time. So we're kind of feeling good about that. But it comes down to how this is all shaping up and where it's going. Normally, swimming is a very focused, goal-oriented sport. Like this is, we usually see in the summer, like now, our 8th grade girls really getting focused because they're going into high school. A lot of times we see real improvements in the younger girls as they swim high school. They get really motivated and want to make the next move. Obviously, that's been put on hold. A lot of our kids, they used to be older. Now with the way the NCAA is working, and Scott will talk even more about that, is that they're looking at going on and swimming in college. I think Jake and I were talking this morning that we think 20 or 22 of our kids that have just graduated that are now freshmen in college are swimming at a different program somewhere in America. Actually, almost none of them are getting to swim right now. And so those things have kind of been put on hold. And then the other thing for most of our younger kids, but all our kids, is, we like to train to swim in meets. Well, meets aren't really happening. And one of the things, I know that Schrader has been trying to run some meets, but there's going to be probably some pushback from USA Swimming that those times may not be legit because of not following USA timing rules, because they're trying to follow COVID rules. And so who knows where those meets will fall. As for us, we're looking at our long-term goal is to maybe at some point do some meets as that it opens up. We'll see what happens on that. Later, I think Jake will talk a little bit about pool as we get into October and beyond. So it comes down to, why are the kids swimming? I've always preached to the kids that, I love swimming because of what it is and what it does for you, not just the meets. One of the things I've always told kids and their parents is, you won't, in 10 years, you won't remember what time you went at, say, the Jack Pettinger Invite or Junior Nationals per se, but you will remember the time that you had at those meets and with the kids that you had, that you swam with. So basically, they have those experiences that we want to be as positive and as fruitful as possible. I totally believe, and our focus of our team has always been about trying to have kids disciplined, self-motivated. We see that as that they're better students, they're better citizens, and for the most part, they love swimming. One of the things I always promote when we have our parents meeting is how many of our coaches used to swim for us that now, because of their love of swimming, are still coaching. And that's still the case in many ways. So that's what we're still stressing here. Basically, one of the things that I really noticed, especially as we got into beginning of August, was that the kids were pretty kind of getting down, a little emotionally down, because they could see this stuff coming forward. But at the same point, training helps kind of alleviate that a little bit. We think it helps their emotional and mental health, not just even physical health. And so we're looking at pretty much trying to keep those things in focus. One of the things that we wanted to talk about a little bit today too was, and I've been having some conversations with some different parents and different kids, is what about college? Well, some of you know, maybe not all of you, one of my coaches and my mentor was Jack Pettinger, and he coached at UW forever. And as he talked to kids within the program, basically is one of the things he stressed, and that I've continued to stress, is that you need to pick the university or college that you want to be going to school at, because the swimming part can change radically. And as we're seeing right now, University of Iowa just dropped their program. We have two of our boys that were there that came and got into their dorms on Monday, and then on Friday they hear that the program is dropping. That is something that may continue with many programs. And we're not sure how that's all going to shake out. So like one of the things that Scott's going to talk about with SwimCloud is that it gives you an opportunity to see what each university, each college has, plus what the swim program is like. And so the great thing about swimming is, you know, with D1, D2, D3 type of situations, there's a lot of opportunities out there. Now those opportunities may be changing, we're not sure. But basically, we're hoping that we're going to be able to keep kids in the water, in our sport, taking care of them, trying to progress them emotionally and physically, and the best we can for their physicalness. One of the things I've been talking with a couple of coaches too is like normally in the summer, the group that I work with in the senior group, we would have 12 hours of long course time and about 6 more hours of short course time. In June, we had 4 hours of short course time. There are clubs around in Wisconsin that have done a lot more training, but pretty much in the violation of their county's rules, but definitely in violation of our rules. And our viewpoint is we don't want to put our kids in those situations to perhaps, you know, be unhealthy or unsafe, because right now everything is on hold. And they're like Winter Nationals is going to be talking with Robert about Caleb. They're probably just going to swim at Florida and do times. We're pretty sure, you know, Jay can talk a little bit more about this too. There won't be a winter December state meet in Wisconsin, but that doesn't impact the high school kids because it's 12 and unders. But we're not sure what meet situations are going to be like. So we're working to keep these kids looking the best we can. When I did some evaluations of the kids, I was watching the different practices in August, it was how much better their strokes look. We're just not very fit, which is fine for right now. And we're basically going to hopefully progress as things get better. That's kind of my little spiel. I told Jake I would try to keep it well under 20 minutes, and kind of close.